Welcome to Soulciete, the shift, the tribe, the movement. May you live your truth. Live from Los Angeles, this is Dr. Erin, Dr. Divinity. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law. We also come together as a community in Soulciete, which is committed to being the #1 spiritual leaders community, committed to enlightenment, empowerment, and entrepreneurship. We truly believe that when somebody awakens, they have a gift and message to bring to the world. And our mission is to awaken 1 billion people globally. And how we are doing that is creating spiritual leaders. So we are in a series right now. We are in a series of Live Your Truth. We are in number 7 of number 12 in this series. So you can go back and binge all the other ones. And if we have completed all of them, then you can binge ahead. So Live Your Truth. This is a great series. This is a series of something that is a framework that I use in Soulciete for training in basically birthing someone's truth. It is based off of a 22-year process that I went through in all different modalities, Greek oracle processes, Socrates method, doing all my inner spiritual work, and sitting down one day and saying, what the hell are we doing here? How is this, what is the overall spectrum of what we're doing when we're healing ourselves and birthing our truth? And the core work is to birth the true essence that you are, your true identity, which is the I am identity, the part of you that is the true self, letting go of all limiting beliefs, letting go of all false identities. And the second part of the truth triangle is birthing your purpose, really your relative truth. There's ultimate truths and relative truth. So how do we birth that? We got to get clear on your core values, your core, what you value, who are you, what do you care about? And knowing that you need to be able to put boundaries and be able to no longer, be the victim of life and placing the responsibility or your power out to the world. The third part of the triangle is birthing your purpose. And that is basically looking at the suffering that you've gone through in your past lives and this life, because all memory is stored in your DNA, and being able to understand how to shift that into a triumph and understand that there's a formula for birthing that purpose. And then we basically create your life purpose statement. And in the center of the triangle is living your truth. And it's very different to know your truth versus living your truth. And this takes discipline. This takes a daily spiritual practice. This takes being the spiritual badass that you really are. Okay, so let's do this thing. So number 7 today is on confusion, problems, and quandaries. Okay, this is in the second part of the triangle of birthing your passion, birthing your relative truth. This is really what it is. So I've had many clients over the years, they come with problems, confusion, quandaries. Okay. So we first of all need to understand what these are. Okay. So a confusion is a lack of understanding or a state of disorder. This is one of the most common. I remember being like this when I was in my 20s. I was so confused and overwhelmed. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought, how do I navigate this thing called life? There's so many different things going on. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know anything, even though I was obsessed with spirituality and consciousness and everything. I didn't know what to do with it or where it was going. I had no idea whatsoever, right? So confusion is one of the most common things that I have people come to me with. I have people come with quandaries. For example, I have people that come, I have one gal that she was married and she, didn't know what to do. There was parts of her marriage that worked and there's parts that were very dysfunctional and she didn't know, should I stay? Should I go? Right? So I went through a lot of processes, getting clear of what she was really committed to, what her core values were. And then she had to live on those principles within her marriage and was able to actually have the marriage begin to work because she knew who she was and she began to put those principles and embody that. Instead of making her husband wrong, she started embodying what was working for her, and it went on the path of what was right for her. Okay, so confusion is something that we all deal with, especially in today's world with overwhelm, with so much information. I remember years ago I was in Los Angeles. I was doing finishing up my doctorate. My son was still in Utah. He had graduated from high school at this point in time, but I still was really confused because well, do I go back and, be there for him even though he's out of high school and he's doing his own company and whatever? But I had to really get clear of, again, and remember, it's not like you do this one time, these formulas. You do them over and over and over again anytime you're questioning anything. So I had to go back into a process, remember that my core value was getting clear of the growth and what my legacy was here and what my mission was here. And in that, it reminded me that there's a reason why I'm in Los Angeles. I'm here to spread the word through media, through the show, through, networking, through being an influencer. So confusion is, again, the definition is a lack of understanding or a state of disorder. A problem, many people come with problems. I had CEOs and celebrities. I deal with everything from problems of addiction to, having problems with not being able to get money or keep money or, all kinds of problems in their businesses, right? So the definition of a problem is a source of perplexity, distress, or a challenge, okay? And a quandary, that means that basically people are having two different goals that are butting up against each other. For example, I want to become a millionaire, but I don't want to hustle. I want freedom and I want whatever, right? So that becomes a quandary. It's like there's mixed goals going against each other. So a quandary is a state of being able to decide what to do about a situation in which you are involved. Okay, so example is, I want to have financial freedom, but I feel like I have to hustle all the time to get there. Okay, that's very typical, very common thing I deal with coaches especially. Another one is, I love my boyfriend, but I don't like how he treats me, right? This is a quandary. Like, how do I love him, but I don't like him, right? That's a quandary. That's confusion. That's overwhelm. That's a problem. I want to live, this is another one, okay? Another example. I want to live in the city, but it's so expensive. Okay, how do you deal with this, right? How do you deal with this? Another one is, I want financial security, but I don't like my job. Okay, these are all the examples of a typical things of confusion, problem, and quandary. And I want you today to be able to, when you walk away from this podcast, to be able to have some tools that you can begin to problem solve in your life. You can begin to deal with the confusion. You can begin to deal with quandaries in your life. Okay, so we're going to basically break this on down. So all confusions are the opportunity to get clarity on your core values and your core commitments. Okay, so all confusion. So anywhere in your life where you're confused, it's about getting back down to your core values. For example, somebody may not know their purpose and calling yet, but what they can get clear on is that they're committed to growth. Okay. So a lot of times, because people will come and they'll go, oh, I want to discover my purpose and calling, but they're still, number one, they still haven't done all their inner healing. So they haven't had triumphs over their trials. And two, they haven't developed themselves enough to understand what that purpose is. So at that point in time, the core value and core commitment is growth and healing. And so that answers it. It's not about necessarily developing their business yet. It's about still doing the inner healing and still learning and growing. Okay. So all problems, the next problems are the opportunity to awaken the innovation within. All problems are the opportunity to awaken the innovation within. This is the deal. From a spiritual perspective, there's no such thing as a problem. A problem is something, basically, I think, for me anyway, when I think about a problem, I think about something that I'm the effect of, that I can't necessarily do something about. It's something outside of myself, right? It's really the opportunity to awaken the innovation within. So whether we're dealing with the problem of money, whether we're dealing with the problem of in a relationship, whether we're dealing with the problem of health, there's always innovation. There's always choice. There's always something new to create and new potential, okay, right? So a problem is something almost like a shift in perspective. So this is where we got to look at the innovation instead of looking at being the victim or being the effect of something out there in the world. Number 3 is quandaries. A quandary is basically the opportunity to get clarity on your core goals. Quandaries are, again, they're two goals that counteract each other, right? So for example, I want money, but I want freedom. So it's like, okay, well, you can't quite get freedom until you get money, right? But in order to get money, you got to, hustle, right? So it's this constant like tug of war within the consciousness. Okay, so we're going to break this on down. So get out a pen and paper, turn off, your ringer or whatever it is, pause this for a minute, get your tea if you need to, get settled in. Okay, this isn't a very long podcast, but still, I want you to write this down. You can take this into your meditations later. You can take this into contemplative journaling. You can do whatever. And you can also come and get in Soulciete and actually do these processes at a deeper level, okay? So number one is, what areas of your life are you experiencing confusion, problems, and quandaries? And I really want you to get clear. And what I recommend you doing is taking a look at the 4 areas of your life again, okay? So career and money, health and wellness, relationships and love, and creative expression. And if in one area you're like, it's all flowing, it's all good, great, don't worry about it. But if there's an area where you feel like you don't have your full power, you don't feel like a total spiritual badass, right? Then that means there's a limiting belief and there is something to be worked through in this, right? Remember that this is a second side of the triangle. So before this work, you will have already done your trauma work and dealing with limiting beliefs and all that. This is the next step, right? We don't deal with this section of the true triangle until we've already done the first side of the triangle, okay? So you've already released your limiting beliefs around these areas, okay? This is now just getting clear and kind of tools to always use consistently in your life, okay? So I want you to write down or contemplate what area or areas of your life are you experiencing confusion, problems, or quandary? Another way to ask this is, what area or areas of your life do you not feel empowered? Same thing, okay? Once you get clear on this, the next question is, when it comes to this area of your life, what is your main goal? What's the goal, right? So a lot of people will come to me around relationship issues and they go, I just want to find the one, and, I just don't know how to do it. I'm I just feel frustrated, right? So what's the main goal? Why? Why do you want to find your partner? Why do you want to find, your twin flame? Why do you want to find this stuff? And often, it's like, a lot of it has to do with programming, and a lot of it has to do with inauthenticity, right? So when we get down to what you really should do is you should be asking this goal and then ask why. And then in asking that why, oftentimes clients will begin to question, why do I want to have a partner? What is that? Is it just because I've seen it? Because I've seen other people doing it? Because I was told that we're not complete without, a partner? What is that? Why? Why do I want a partner? Is it because I actually authentically want to, share my life with somebody because I want to be expressed, or I want to serve someone, or I want to expand my consciousness in that, deep, intimate experience? What is your why? Why do you want that area of life? And so getting clear on your why, getting clear on your main goal is super important, because often what happens is that, for example, I was working with a client and they wanted to find, a partner, and began to inquire into why. And their greatest why was just to be expressed in the realm of love. And so they realized that they don't need a partner for that per se. Yes, they would like that, but they decided that they get to just be committed to being expressed and being loving everywhere they go, to whomever they're with, and being expressed in that. And in that, it opens up the possibility of being able to call in the one, or being able to expand upon, someone that they're just casually dating that, they don't know if it's right or wrong, but they just get to express in love and unconditionally loving that person exactly as they are, and new possibilities open up for them. Okay. So when it comes to, your main goals, also money, money is a big one. Why do you want $1 million? Is it just because it's like a really cool thing to say on your bio? Like, why do you want $1 million? What is that? And in getting clear of what that core goal is and your why, it begins to open up the true motivation behind things and what really matters in that area of your life, right? So the next question is, what other goals are contradicting your main goal, right? So, for example, again, a primary thing I work with developing spiritual leaders, and some of them are spiritual coaches, some of them are not. Some of them are real estate agents, some of them are they have products. I believe that a spiritual leader is not just somebody who needs to get on stage and be an author and a traditional spiritual leader, someone who's embodying truth and takes it out powerfully into their life. So a lot of times though, when I'm working with spiritual coaches, they're coaching, they oftentimes are motivated, in their primary goal of becoming a coach is to be financially independent. They're like, I want to be financially independent and be a laptop lifestyle globally. Okay, great. But then the contradicting goals are like, I'm working my ass off. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm sitting in front of my computer nonstop, and it's just a big hustle. Okay, cool. So they've got two goals. They want to be free and they want to, have the laptop lifestyle, but then their also goal is to make money, and they have to hustle all the time to do that, right? So the real goal is getting down to their why. What would they do if money didn't matter? What would they do for the next 20 years of their life with or without, money? And then you got to get clear on that, because oftentimes the value system is skewed. I want money, but I also want to serve. And if you're not doing what you really love to do, then it's not going to work out, because you're not being authentic. Because if you had all the money in the world and you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, then that's not your primary goal. You've been lying to yourself, right? So what is the actual goal? And getting clear of what that is. Okay, so the next question is, which goal is your core commitment and why? What are your core commitments and why? And getting clear of that helps people understand where they should live. It helps them understand if the relationship they're in really aligns to what they really care about in their life. It helps people understand, if they're being inauthentic or authentic in their career, and why it's a constant battle, or why it's ease and grace, because it just is what they're committed to. So what are your core value in the 4 areas of your life, and why? Why does that matter to you so much? And just getting clear again of your core values. So what you do in this process is really diving deep. You can dive deep in asking questions. When we do it in subconscious work, in session work, right? When I'm working with a client, I ask this question, and there's something that's really crazy about the subconscious that will bubble up with truth. And I find that whether I'm doing it with a client and I'm asking these questions and repetitively asking these questions, it just bubbles up truth within their soul. You can't explain it. Same thing if I go into a deep meditation and I'm really, really, really in source with my higher self. I've merged into the one, and I begin to ask these questions and just allow the answers to bubble up in consciousness. It's total clarity, okay? So for a lot of people, they have a hard time doing that on their own. They have a hard time because they're just so stuck in their programming, stuck in their logical mind. So it's not until you get into a session with a practitioner, spiritual practitioner, or if you go into deep, deep meditation, that's really possible to answer these from a truly authentic space. So, but the truth is that you can do this. It's just how much you're willing to really commit to going in and asking these questions at a deep, deep, profound level. So the next question is, what new possibility do you see for yourself? What do you see for yourself out of asking these core values, these core commitments, these, getting down to what really matters and why you're doing stuff? What new possibility do you see for yourself, and what are you committed to creating in your life? And these processes are amazing. I use them forever, you guys. Back in the day when I started developing these processes, I would have huge epiphanies and whatever. And now, they're just little tweaks in it. If I'm getting a little confused, it doesn't happen very much, but it still comes in every once in a while. And I still have to go back to these processes myself and ask these questions deep in meditation. And every time I just know. And then all problems go away. The hustle goes away, the burnout goes away, because I remember what really matters to me. And that's what I base my life on. So I know for sure you have a truth. You have a specific truth, and you're here born to live your truth, to live in alignment with your core values, to live in alignment with what truly matters to you. And I'm holding this possibility and this knowingness in my mind. I know who you are, which is a spiritual leader. Which does not mean that you need to be, the next, Oprah or Chopra, right? That means that you live and you lead by example, on principle, on who you are to the world, and you affect every single human being you come in contact with, because you are unapologetically you. And so on that, I know the perfection, and I really, really, really ask for you to give a review on this podcast. If you've gotten a value, please give it a 5-star. Please refer a friend or 20 to this podcast. It's important to get truth out, you guys. It's important to help people in their suffering and live the best version of themselves, okay? Have a beautiful day, and may you live your truth. Thanks again for tuning in to Dr. Erin and Soulciete podcast. I'd like to invite you to write a review on iTunes. Also, I have a free gift for you, a money meditation and worksheet, which you can find at soulciete.com. That's www.soulciete.com. Or 30 guided meditations at drerin.tv. That's www.drerin.tv. We also hold monthly Soulciete events that are all about transformation and building extraordinary community. You can also watch me live daily on goodmorninglalaland.com or Instagram at drerin.tv. Grab your free Manifestation Masterclass with the purchase of my international best-selling book, Awakening, a 40-day guide to unleashing your spiritual powers, life purpose, and manifesting your dreams at erinfallhaskell.com/awakening book.